Oh, hi there. Today I want to talk about thinking on paper and thinking out loud. And I just got back from another walk. I have a park right next to my house. It's late spring, it's May here in Germany, in Berlin. And the air was completely filled with these fluffy white pollen from, I think it's poplars. And they're really fun. It's almost like it snowed. The whole ground was white, and it's really fun to take a short walk in the morning, almost like a walk to work kind of thing. And I was wondering, and I was thinking about what I want to share with you today, and I came back and just wrote on a piece of paper something very straightforward. You see it in the middle. Think on paper. So I want to talk about thinking on paper, or as I may want to call it, is why to think out loud, right? And thinking out loud means thinking, but instead of doing it here, doing it, on a piece of paper or on a whiteboard. And I want to talk briefly about, why thinking on paper or thinking out loud is so powerful. First of all, it simplifies things, right? It makes things simpler. Uh, in my brain, when I'm, waking up at night and thinking about, the things I want to do, the challenge there is that all these thoughts and all these challenges and all these ideas and all these inspirations, they're all very tangled up, right? They're like all up in each other's business and they influence each other, which by itself isn't bad. But simple or simplex, as they call it, it means that they're untangled. You can see like two strands as a visual metaphor. The idea of doing something that simplifies your life means it takes away complexity, things that are complected or intertwined, entangled. And so I think thinking out loud and thinking on paper or thinking on a whiteboard or thinking on a blackboard or something like that, it means that you're simplifying. You can untangle the hairball that's usually in your brain, or at least in my brain. That's what it has been giving me over years now, and I think it's super helpful, especially if you're a thinker and overthinker like myself. Um, Another thing is thinking out loud is easy. It's something that you're actually already pretty good at. Unless there's a medical condition, which of course is something different, you already know how to speak. You probably already know how to write. You have probably access to a piece of paper and a pen. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. I'll get to tools in just a moment, but it's so easy to get a piece of paper, get a moment of silence, make it nice and quiet, and start thinking out loud. Um, I think thinking out loud also is very effective because our brain actually, at least in my case, my brain really likes get offloading and downloading into the paper or onto the whiteboard and freeing up space. The computer or hardware metaphor here being there is a lot of stuff in my brain, and if I am able to sort of externalize it, put it on an external disk, it helps me free up space and processing power, and I think that makes it very effective. And in fact, so that's one way to make it effective. The other reason why it's effective is because it it helps it immediately when you start putting down things on paper more often than not, in best case on a daily basis, you start to become much more in control of the challenges ahead of you and the ideas and inspirations that move you. And I think thinking on paper is also very flexible and makes you very flexible, and meaning that you first of all, not everyone thinks the same, and not everyone thinks out loud the same. So I put it here in you can see, some people like to think very visually and spatially. But other times, for example, for me, other times I just start writing, you know, train of thought, stream of consciousness for a few paragraphs, just to start unloading and uncovering and discovering what I'm really thinking about. So just to show you, I do this both, and I think they're both very flexible. So one day I'm more visual and I'm on the whiteboard and I draw, a mind map, for example, as a structure. And another day I feel like I don't know where it's going. I don't know really where, if it's a mind map or if it's a story or whatever. And so thinking on paper, thinking out loud on a whiteboard or on a piece of paper is simple, easy, effective, and flexible. And I want you to start doing that today. This is so you have some homework here to do, and I think you're going to like it. It may take some time. This is a skill, um, but it's a skill so much worth having and so much worth cultivating that it will, I think, absolutely to benefit your business, your work, your personal relationships, and your relationship that you have with yourself. So homework is get a piece of paper or like a cheap. This is super cheap, just like a legal pad. Get a pen. Doesn't matter what it is, what type of pen, and start putting down on this piece of paper what's on your mind right now. Do this for 5 minutes. Don't overstress yourself. If there's nothing on your mind or you stare at a blank piece of paper and Alexis told you to write something, then write, I don't have anything on my mind. That's fine too. And don't overdo it. Do 5 minutes or a few minutes. And one last thing, don't do it on the computer. So I'm really very particular about thinking on paper. I don't believe that taking a note on a computer program has the same cognitive effect. So I hope this was fun. I'm looking forward to maybe even reading from you what you've experienced, just getting a piece of paper and start writing, and getting whatever is in here onto the page. So let me know, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.